Hello students, welcome to week 11. I'm going to go through the week real quick. For social studies, you're starting the new unit for module 3, and when you go into the content, you'll see that we're focusing on the settlement of North America. So the original 13 colonies will start to be focusing on the kind of initial stages of what we now have as the United States of America. And then for math, you will see in week 12 or week 11 rather, that you have 2 assignments that are due and your module 5 assessment. So be sure to go back and review, but when you go into here, you're going to see what is due on the last page with the PDF. Also, I've noticed on your guys' quizzes, it seems again like you might be jumping straight to the quiz that day rather than working through the curriculum. So you probably won't understand what the models are asking for or how to solve the problems if you don't go through the content. So be sure to slow down. And it's always going to tell you which model to use based on what was in the content for that day. And this particular one, you're going to be using the standard algorithm. And you'll know more about that once you go through the content. And here you're going to start back looking at some things around decimals. And so when we go to week or 06.01 in week 11, you're going to see the assignment that's due called What's the Decimal Point? Be sure to answer these questions with sentences where you actually give me your thinking of how you understood the content and how it helps you. That is an important standard. And then when we go into science, for week 11, you will see that you have 2 activities due on different types of energy. And so when you click in on the final pages of both, you're going to learn about sound energy and then you're going to do the activity connected to it. So both of those focus on how, energy is transferred, affected, those kind of things. And when you look here, this one on electrical energy looks like this. All right. Then when we move into language arts, all right, so you have a quiz, and then here in 04.02, it is time to show what you know for informative writing. Okay, so this is one that they've started and that you started previously, and the writing prompt was tracing the tractor's legacy and the car catalyst, discuss 2 different modes of transportation and how they have changed over time. Using the text, explain how transportation changed the world. Use evidence from the text to support your response. So in previous lessons, if you've been skipping to the quizzes or the assignments, you will not have gone through this. So you're going to have to go back to the beginning of the module. You're writing informationally using these 2 texts to explain how they've changed and how that's impacted our world. So you're going to have a body paragraph on one mode of transportation explaining how it's changed over time and how that's affected the world. Another body paragraph with a different mode of transportation, how it's changed over time and how that affected the world as it changed and developed. When you use evidence from the text, don't forget to use that quote sandwich where you introduce. For example, the car catalyst said that right? And you introduce that quote and then you explain how that quote goes back to explaining how they've changed over time and how that has changed the world. And you will find your rubric here for what I will be scoring you on and giving you feedback on. So again, if you haven't gone through the lesson so far, you're probably going to have to go back and do some digging because there will be text and you're starting with the graphic organizer here. So these are the body paragraphs. Like I just explained, your graphic organizer is going to be where you're starting to put together one mode of transportation, how it's changed, another mode of transportation, how it's changed, how have those modes of transportation changed the world? Okay, so that's how you would organize it. So if you have any questions about that, pulling back to those texts, please feel free to join me on that Zoom call on Tuesday. This will be the piece that you'll be working on throughout this module, and this week you start with the graphic organizer. Like I said, if you need any help, please reach out.